section. Welcome back, everybody, all the hundreds of millions of fans out there to Coming of Age, the podcast coming of age.
Yes, sir.
Woo! Sweet up voice you're hearing right now is your host, Frankness. My co-host is still on vacation. Shout out to Zam. But if he was here, you'd be hearing his humble voice.
Zam in the building.
Man, how you talk? I didn't even introduce you yet. This guy. Well, that voice you hear, we got another guest on the show, guys. This is a very special dude. He holds a very special place in my heart and my life. No, I guess no homo, whatever. But pause. I don't know what.
Mutual.
But it is my boy, Mr. Mike Opoku.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Mike.
How you doing, guys? How you doing? And girls, of course.
Listen, I just gotta tell everybody, like, this is royalty. This is royalty in the business in the building tonight. This is royalty. Like, the fact that I was able to get him on the show, get a time slot, I was able to talk to his agent. We settled the dollars. We got the contract and non-disclosure agreement written out. Everything's good. Like, this is a big. So, Mike, how, oh my gosh, how are you, my brother?
I'm doing pretty good. First off, I had to be ironed out to know what I can and cannot say. So I apologize for taking my time for being on the show, guys.
Listen, this is a unrestricted, no hold bars kind of podcast. So you can say whatever it is that your heart wants to say.
Yes, sir.
So don't be all quiet and humble and professional, because we know that ain't you. But no, for everybody who doesn't know, so I have referenced Mike a few times on the show. He is my best friend, and we've been through thick and thin, met in university way back in the day.
Way back.
I remember we were partners for an assignment one time, and man just literally passed out on the bed. And this is like the one time we ever did this assignment together ever. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. And that is how I knew that this guy was going to be important in my life. Just that very moment right there. Mike, what have you been up to, right?
I've been just chilling, during these times. I've just focused on the things I need to get done, to put myself and the people around me in good positions,
Yep.
Because I pride myself in life in terms of, making sure that everybody also wins as long as myself. So that's just all I've been focusing on, harnessing the energy towards that,
Jeez, that's a very serious question. I was waiting for I'm just chilling, taking it easy, This guy
kicking up the feet.
This guy went deep, yo.
Watching Netflix 24/7? Nah.
Oh, I wish. No, man, you're on that hustle. I respect that 100%.
That's it. The hustle and grind, man. We got one life to live, right?
We do. Honestly, I think we're just gonna kick right into it this week. Like,
yes, sir.
I had a whole spiel plan, and this guy was talking from the very jump. The second I pressed record, so like, all right, I guess it's gonna be that kind of podcast.
Man. You know me.
People, we got a nice episode for you this week. Everyone out there, you're gonna want to hear this one. It doesn't matter what position you are, it doesn't matter where you are in life, how much of this you got, how little of this you got. You can definitely learn something from what we're about to talk about this fine evening. This week, this is season 2, episode 59.
Ooh,
damn, 59.
Wow.
We started this February of last year, so that's pretty sick. So
that's crazy.
Episode 59 is eloquently titled Stem of Confidence. Stem of Confidence. And it's exactly what it sounds like. So we're going to be discussing where confidence comes from. Like, what does it stem from? The root. What is it that causes it? So we're going to break this episode up as we usually do so we can simplify it, stay on track. One, we're going to talk about why is confidence even important? Like, why even talk about it, right? Then we're going to go into the different types of stems. So we're going to talk about specifically where does it come from? just from our experience, and from what we've observed, read, um, studied, the whole works. And then we're going to end it off with the catalyst for confidence in our life. So that's where we will share where we personally think is the single moment or moments where we developed our confidence, and things kind of took off from there. And then to wrap the show up, of course, we're gonna have our Spittin' in 5. So you're gonna want to stick around. You gotta stick around for Spittin' in 5. That's where everything wraps up and life makes sense. So let's get right into this, Mike. Oh man. First of all, confidence. Oh, I would love to start, but I'm gonna let you bless the airlines first. Why to you, specifically to you, Mike? Why is confidence even a factor? Why is it important?
Before I speak on confidence, first I'd like to give a shout out to Frank and Nazim for beginning this podcast. Y'all are doing
biggest Frank and Nazim.
Some great work with this, and
thanks, brother.
For everybody to hear you, because a lot of people do like hearing your voices, especially during these times, for that little motivation towards something, so it's been just great hearing you guys out, and shout out to everybody listening and supporting.
Thank you.
But we also thank you guys for beginning this podcast, man.
Dope. That's some good feedback. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Bless up.
Okay. And the question with confidence is it's important. It's very important for success. How you portray yourself is so important in this world, especially nowadays. Like now, so much more important than years ago. Now, you want to get a job, you want to learn a new skill, you want to be in a certain type of environment. It's not your ego or your chest that has to stick out. It's more of that smooth, quiet kind of,
okay.
How do you call it? Like you're laid back, you're confident, you can get the job done. And that's what makes people not necessarily just notice you, but just it amplifies your presence, and you're able to do a lot of things without being stressed out or overthinking stuff and everything like that, because you can get the job done.
So you're focusing on the presence, your omnipresence, or how you portray yourself to people, because and I agree very much, because if I'm talking to someone in the workplace or outside the workplace, doesn't matter, to be honest. But if I'm talking to someone, if I get the sense, even if they don't know everything, but if I know that they're at least confident in what they do know, or what they're saying, or at least they're confident they know they'll find a solution.
Exactly.
That alone just sends, some proper vibes throughout me, because again, I don't know everything, right?
Yeah.
But as long as I know I'm with someone who says, you know what, hey, listen, we'll figure it out. I'm not concerned about that. Exactly. Or they're confident enough to take take the bull by the horns. That's what makes people kind of feel, confident in the person that they're talking to and working with.
Exactly. Because you have to be real with yourself. Life is all about, living and enjoying the moment. But remember that we also have problems, the ups and the downs. And
absolutely,
when you're in the down moments, you're going to have to find that place, and that place to either get you out or move forward or conquer things. And so when you either surround yourself with people like that, or you're talking to somebody that comes off like that type of person that's like, hey, listen, I can be in this situation, but that's not going to be my reality. Here's going to be my reality, because I'm going to do anything I can to make sure that I can get everything done from point A to point B, exactly, obtaining it. You're gonna love talking to somebody like that. You're gonna love having somebody like that around you. And for yourself, as being a confident person, that's something that you value. Because there's a lot of times, not saying that there's not a lot of this in the world, but not a lot of people know exactly what confidence can do in your life, and just what it is, essentially, and the success and what it comes from. What comes from being a confident person, basically.
Do you think that the past year, with the transition of, especially, let's just talk about the workforce, specifically. Actually, no, we can talk about work and dating, everything. Do you think that this whole new prominently virtual environment has increased or decreased people's confidence? Because now, for example, people do virtual calls all the time, and
Yes.
they'll have to do like, a video call, right?
Yes.
And some people are definitely, petrified of
Mhm.
being on the screen, being on the video, or maybe it boosted some people to, get over that hump of being scared of being on the video. And now they're like, oh, it's fine. My appearance is fine. I feel good. I can work this. I feel
Yes.
fine speaking in front of people. But
Mhm.
then I guess my question is, do you think that'll be retroactive once things go back to normal? Because now people will be used to speaking on a screen. And then now when they get back into the room, they're like, oh shit, I have to say this to your face now.
Exactly.
So I don't know. What do you think of? Do you think that plays a role or has anything to do with anything?
I think if anything, it's made more people be more aware,
Hmm.
self-aware in terms of
Smart. Okay.
where they are in place of their lives. So yes, if it is being in front of the screen, that's one aspect of it, just like you mentioned. Now it's another thing to be in front of the
Hmm.
screen or to say something on the telephone, but
Yep.
another thing to be able to hold
Say it to
that
my face,
energy.
yo.
Yeah, say it to someone's face, right? So, it's interesting because when we get back to normal, you're right. People are going to be like, I miss this. And,
And I'm not even talking about negative stuff either. Not even negative.
yeah,
Like even just like voicing your opinion or your
yes,
idea or your
right.
knowledge. You know, there's some people who sit in the boardroom and say nothing, and they can
Yeah,
answer every question, but they're just like, hey, let everybody else
yeah.
speak, guys,
Everyone speak, right?
whatever, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'll change. Maybe it won't. But I
I
like how you
think
said it's awareness.
it's awareness because the awareness is the first stage of confidence.
Mm,
The awareness is the first stage of anything in your life, right? If you have a problem, um, the awareness will get you to the first place of understanding where you need to get to at the end. So
it's
then
true.
there has to
Yes.
be that work
Mm,
where in front of the camera, that's one aspect of it. But the other
mm,
aspect of it is being able to communicate well, especially in front of somebody. And so all these things are all levels to it, basically, that when things get normal, there's still going to be people who are scared to talk to people. There's still going to
absolutely.
be people
Yeah.
who, because they're going to see that, what, even though I might lack confidence in this area, these are the things I need to do. Now, the question is, are you willing to do it?
So the question, I got a question for you. I'll
Yeah.
answer your question. The question. Um, so obviously there's different types of confidence because before I mentioned
Yes.
work and dating, because hey, the dating world probably has, I mean, it was transitioning to virtual anyways, but now it's probably even more so that, right?
Yeah.
But there is confidence to speak your mind there, but then there's also confidence of action. There's confidence
Yes.
of taking risks. Um,
Yes.
so do you think that there is a more, do you think that one type of confidence is more important than the other, or do you think they're all equal, or they have a
Right.
place for it? Like, what do you think about like this? Let's keep it that way. Okay,
Mhm.
voice, confidence of opinion, confidence of action, and then confidence of risk. Let's say out of those three, like, what do you think?
I think that you are right. There's like a tier system for them. For instance, somebody who's confident with a lot of risks is going to be more like susceptible. They're going to be more have the ability to cope with a lot more things than somebody who's just confident with their opinion, because
Okay.
opinion is just words.
Yeah.
While facing your fear going to be something that just terrifies you, and conquering things that terrify you, especially when we know the essence of fear protects you from things that are basically uncomfortable. You don't know. So fear is another thing too, that when good things are coming, fear actually doesn't even notice good things. So
Well, hey,
having
hold that thought because you're about to roll into the
yes.
second topic. So hold your horses for a second. Hold on, hold on.
He's like, hold on there.
I want to get back to the question though. So do you think that having confidence to voice your opinion can take you further than
Oh,
confidence just to take action on something, or vice versa? Let's
okay.
start with those two. Let's
Let's
just
start
listen
with
to
those
those
two.
two.
Okay. So, yeah, it is important to be diversify yourself in every
Okay.
aspect. It's good to conquer all of them.
Yeah.
But you're right. If you were to take one over the other, I think it's the best to be able to
Mhm.
conquer your fears. just because opinion is just words. We all know it's just words. Anybody can talk or say anything, but in the end of the day, can you be the person that goes, I'm confident enough to tackle the situation
Yep.
or wherever that I'm at, basically.
I like how you say it's diverse because I think it's situational, very much so.
Situational.
Because I mean, like today's, especially today, it's all about networking, for example.
Yes, you're right.
And you have to have the confidence to go and talk to anybody. You got to be able to go to a work event and see the person who's surrounded by everybody in the room and walk up to them and make an impression in seconds, right? But at the same time, you have to be able to have the confidence to quit your job to pursue something you want, or to make an investment, or to, walk the walk, talk the talk, right? So I like how you said it's good to diversify. I don't know if you can, I don't know if I can say that you can conquer all of them, because that's a big challenge. Like,
it's a big challenge.
You literally have to be fearless to everything, right?
Yes.
And I know as a guy, or as a strong woman, you like to say you're fearless, but it gets tough. It really does.
100%.
For example, if you're at a bar and you see a girl and you got to walk up to her, some guys might see that as, oh, nothing, no problem, let's go do it. And some guys might be like, whoa, what? Like, who's coming with me? Like, where's my script? For example. But then that same guy who can walk up to a girl can't walk up to a CEO and say, hey, this is what I think our company should do. Anyways, it's just,
and you're right. And you're right. Now imagine this though. Imagine that you conquered the ability to face your fears, not just with words or going up to a girl or maybe being able to talk in the workplace, but you can't talk outside of it or whatever. But imagine having the capability of knowing how to conquer just your fears. Nothing scares you, because you're going to be in a situation where it's foreign to you. Like, say, if somebody who has conquered their fears is in a situation of a bar and they see a girl, they can rationalize with it. So what they can do is, in the moment,
very, very true.
They can basically say, you know what? I'm not great at speaking with girls, but I can take my shot. Because one time out of 10, I could probably hit. So you know what?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many words
they'll figure it out. So
they'll figure it out. And
I'll either go
key.
And I'll die out, or I'll go.
That's
and
it.
Go home with someone, right?
Yes, because they're not afraid. Here's the thing: they're not afraid of failure. That's what that comes from.
That's
that confidence comes from knowing that you're like, I'm not afraid of failure. So I'm going, and that's why it's so important that you're able to conquer your fears more so than ever, be able to talk to somebody or be in a public place or whatever that is, because you're right, it's situational. But if you're to take one over the other, that's very important to do.
So then let's now roll into the second step. So I think we can kind of confirm that confidence is important because I think, simply put, it can take you places.
Exactly.
Right? It can take you places that you would never have had the opportunity to see or feel or experience if you were timid or more safe, let's call it.
Yes.
Because I mean, if you smell of confidence, it can just attract, the wrong things, but it could mostly, I think it will attract the right things.
The right things. Yes.
There are people who will get promotions, since we keep talking. Work is such an easy one to talk about, but people will get opportunities, I should say, because they literally drip confidence, and people are like, "Ooh, I want to hang with that guy.
I want to hang with that guy
because they're you know what I mean."
The presence.
So now, if we go into stems, so we know why it's important. Fine, agree or disagree, it's important. It's my podcast. I say it's important. So if you listen to us, do with it. So STEM. So you already talked big about the first one.
Yes.
You said facing fears.
Yes.
And so facing fears itself, people might say, well, no, that just means you're brave, you're courageous.
Right.
But I think what we're trying to get at is, if you face said fears, and whether you're successful or not, you learn from that experience and you can build from it. So then now the next time you face a similar situation or a similar risk or what have you, you can reference, say, you know what, it's not as bad as when I did this. or you know what,
Yes.
I did this and I failed, but I could have succeeded if I changed this one thing. I can do it this time. And
Yes.
is now, instead of going in empty mind or with no experience, no nothing, now you have something to pull on, all because you decided to conquer that one fear, right?
Yes. And you're correct. Like you can look at the analogy that a lot of people like to use. You know, it's a lot more dangerous to cross the road than it is to public speak. But why are people finding it so easy to just cross the road than it is to step on a podium and make a speech? You have
You
to
know what?
think about this.
I've never heard of of that analogy, but that's so
Right?
great.
Because you have to think about this. When you cross the road, you could get hit. I mean, how many times have you been hit? I've been hit twice by a car crossing the road.
I've
Right? I'm
never
sure you
been.
have.
No, I've never been hit by a
No,
car.
like I mean, like it happens. It happens. I bet everybody can say, "Hey,
I've had
listen, I
close
had
calls. I've had close calls.
exactly. Hey,
All right.
close calls count just the same. It's just dangerous because maybe the driver's not paying attention. But
Yeah.
you know what happens in this is that you take a look at that analogy. Is it's more dangerous to actually cross the road than it is to public speak. So why is it that we have less of a fear to walk the road than it is to public speak?
Challenge.
Because of practice. As a kid,
Oh, you think okay?
you have walked that line across that street so many times that it becomes secondary to you.
Mm.
So now, does it fear? Is the fear there? It's not there. So that fear, conquering your fear, just makes you that one step, that level up pretty much, because what you're doing there is you're making it practice. And after through that practice of doing so many things that's fearful, everything else becomes very, very easy. You know, you
So
don't think
I
about that.
agree with you. I agree with you with regards to the whole practice analogy 100%. If you
Yeah,
practice speaking or, running, jumping, whatever it is you're doing, then yes, you'll gain confidence in that activity.
exactly.
Um, I think there are more factors.
Mhm.
Um, like for example, if we're talking about speaking, I think people are worried about being challenged on what they
Mhm.
say or being judged. I think judge is a big one, right?
100%.
People generally want to be liked, and if you feel like you open your mouth and people are just judging you or thinking whatever, that can
Mhm.
deter you from saying anything, because then you're like, okay, well, I rather play it safe, right?
Right.
But to your point, if
Mhm.
you practice speaking your mind,
Right.
you will naturally practice defending your position,
Yes.
or understanding, or sorry, observing if people like what you're saying or don't like
Right.
what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
And then you can cater to it, or
Exactly.
sorry, you can tailor it, I should say, sorry. So yeah, if I've learned from speaking or from just
Right.
doing stuff
Yep.
what it is that people like, don't like, and depending on my mood, if I'm trying to impress people, then yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say what I have to say to make it work, right?
E-
Um,
Exactly. And you know, you can ask yourself this question: do you have that fear anymore?
of what, being liked?
Of no, of speaking in public or
Oh
public
no.
places?
Oh geez,
No,
I can speak
no.
in front of anybody.
Exactly. And why is that? It's because you practiced it, you see? And by doing that, by practicing fear, you gain that confidence.
Mm,
So everything, every aspect, any category, anything you're ever going to do in your life, if you can practice it, the fear's gone.
I agree. So you had also noted, so we have a couple of things here that you
Mm-hmm.
brought up. Um, how about you speak on setting goals? So you said that setting goals
Yes,
can actually be a stem of confidence. I'm pretty
exactly.
sure I know where you're going with this, but I want you to explain
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah, setting your goals every day. I'm sure a lot of us wake up every day where, you know, we want to learn something or we want to get to a certain place in our life or, you know, want to change our circumstances. Like you mentioned, you know, quitting your job or anything like that. Setting the goals is so important because when you make those little strides to get there every day, you know, like Will Smith says, you lay the brick by brick, you get there. And what ends up happening is when you build the wall, it really helps your confidence because you look back at it and you can every single time you go, wow, look what I've done.
Hmm.
And by setting those goals and achieving them, it can really boost your confidence a lot because now you know what, hey, I'm capable of doing many things
You're
because
capable.
look, yeah, look what I did.
Even
And
if it's a whole bunch
so
of small things, a big thing doesn't matter. It's
exactly. It
you're
doesn't
capable.
matter. You're capable of doing it. The more goal settings and the more things you achieve, that's the 100% that builds your confidence.
Now, I guess you kind of have to have a mix of perseverance because in a
Yeah,
perfect world, every goal you set, you will automatically achieve.
exactly.
But
You
it's not a
know,
perfect world, right? So,
now, and you make a good point there. What's amazing about confidence and setting goals is this. There's so many things like you mentioned, like for instance, public speaking, right? You have to have the ability to not care about what people think or
yep.
anything like that. Now, what's so beautiful about confidence is that it's the one thing that when you're doing so, setting goals, or like we mentioned before, public speaking, you actually figure things about yourself that
Mm-hmm.
ends up building on its own. Like, let me
Yep.
give you an example. Like, you set a goal to go to the gym, right? And it's been hard for you to go to the gym. Think about you going the one day, the second day, the third day, right? Now,
Literally a
guess
step
what?
at a time.
A step at a time. Guess what? Now you're practicing there without you knowing. Discipline.
Yep.
So confidence is one of those things, especially setting goals. And confidence as a whole is one of the things that when you're doing things just to build your confidence, it naturally caters to all the other things along that comes along with it, whether that be discipline, whether that be not caring about what people think, whether that
Mm.
be waking up every day, laying that brick by brick, perseverance, which you mentioned.
Yep.
That's what I love about the confidence aspect of it. Everything else is built with it, and you don't have to focus so much on it.
It just
You're like,
naturally
it
comes.
just naturally comes. You're like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to go to the gym, but I'm late. Okay,
Mm.
so I need to be more on time. There's so many things.
It's almost like things become so matter of fact,
Yes, they could
right?
become matter of fact, right?
And like you become a self-tuning like life vessel, which is
Yes,
pretty cool because if you're able to achieve that like level of self-awareness,
yes,
then you have confidence in what you're doing, but at the same time, you're able to naturally
yeah,
tweak what you're doing without even thinking hard into making yourself even that much better. And then your confidence also naturally exponentially grows
right,
with all that experience, right?
exactly. You're
Um,
right.
and to that point, like one thing that I've said it before on this podcast, it's almost like my way of like boosting my own confidence
Hmm.
because we've all been in sticky situations, right? I've been in situations where I'm like, fuck, like, hey, how am I gonna figure this out? Or
Hmm.
geez, stressful. I gotta find this, I gotta do this, whatever it is, right? And I've realized that one phrase I've kind of developed on my own, and that I say it a lot more often than I realize is I'll figure it out, whatever,
Yeah,
right? And it's almost like before I would like intentionally say it because I'm actually thinking hard. I'm like, okay, I don't really have a solution, but I don't have a choice. I guess I'll wing it. Like, okay, let's just figure it out.
yeah,
But now it's actually to the point where whatever I'm doing, like when I hear a challenge, like it's almost like automatic in my mind. I'm like, I'll figure it out. It's not a big deal.
yes.
It's small stuff. Whether it's a big challenge, small challenge, intricate,
Hmm.
general, in my mind, I just know I'm like, I'll figure it out. I have
I
the
figured
resources, I
out.
have the network, I have the brains, I have the expertise to get the job done. And I
Yes,
know that from my 33 years experience, when it is finally placed in front of me and it is time to act, I will know what to do because that's
exactly.
just
That's just who you are.
from all the
And
mistakes and all the
yes,
stuff that's happened. You know what I mean?
experience. And the experience comes just like you said, all those goal settings that you did, right? Every goal that you ever had on a piece of paper in your mind or that you wanted to achieve, that gets you right there to exactly that position because you've conquered so many things back and forth and here and there, highs and lows. So now when someone throws anything at you or situational things happen, it's just so easy
Yeah.
because it builds that secondary mechanism. It builds
Yes.
all those mechanisms within yourself that you didn't even know.
It's literally a trigger. It's like something
It's a trigger,
triggers,
exactly.
and then your body's like, all right, let's go to work. Don't worry about it.
Let's go to work, exactly.
We're good, right? So
I
I
mean,
like
you
that
have
one.
to
That's a
ask
good
it.
one.
I mean,
Very
you have
good
to
one.
ask yourself this, right? You're an engineer yourself, right? And you think about it. You go to school, right? How long do you go to school for? Was it
It's
5
a
years, 6
5-year
years?
program.
Right? It's a 5 year long program. That's not going to build your confidence. You can get a PhD, you can get whatever you call it. That's not going to build your confidence. In the end of the
Well,
day,
it builds a little bit, but
it builds a little bit.
it's not the type
But
of it is finish your thought and I'll say what I'm gonna say. Go.
it's almost like it builds a little bit, but you have to look at the grand scheme of things.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
The grand scheme of things is after you got it, you had to go out there and say, okay,
Act.
all these challenges, I'm going to act on this, that, and that. And what happened when you conquer every one of them, you fail some of them, what ends up happening? It completes you as a whole. Now you have to ask yourself this question. This is a question for yourself even, right? Would you rather have you be in the place that you're at now with the experiences and everything you have and the confidence that you have, or been given that certification, say for instance, that degree? For instance, let's just say if you could take one or the other, if that makes sense. Like,
okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Would you rather be handed the diploma or things like that? And it means a lot, of course, not underlining anything at all, but would you rather have the confidence to be able to do just because of your experience and everything that's built you up to it? Or would you rather have been given your diploma and if someone tells you, hey, go work for this firm, that's the number one firm in the world?
Oh, that's a tough one because I think they both have very good question. They both have their benefits. Mm-hmm. So of course it's easy to say, yeah, give me the confidence because then I know that 24-year-old me with this confidence would
and experience,
let's just say, conquer the world for argument's sakes, right? But at the same time, back to your point of building blocks or small steps, graduating high school was a step, university was a step, your first job was a step, your first long-term girlfriend or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. All of these things are steps which still build up to the you now, and that's the fun of the journey, right? So
exactly.
I guess like if I had to answer, because fine, I would say
like what gave you the greatest form of the experience that completed you to where you are now? Would you say your university, or would you say being out there in the field?
Honestly, actually, I might say my university.
Really?
But
okay.
The reason why this is kind of a special question for me, because as I said previously on this podcast, it was during university that I actually started finding out who I really was and what I was about, right? Like it was in university.
Actually, that is true, because we both were talking about this. And I remember even dancing.
Yes,
shout out. People don't know this, but Frank was on the dance team.
Everybody knows now. Jeez, my gosh.
Of course, right? And just making sure I repeat that. And you're right.
That was one of the things that wasn't the defining moment in my life that started my confidence, but that was one of the things that definitely boosted it. And it was during university, right? So
okay.
All right. So next item, you said own up to strengths and weaknesses. So I just want to point out to everybody that stems of confidence isn't just doing heroic acts or jumping off a bridge or not bridge, sorry, a plane, or doing some grand thing. It can actually just be like, think about it. We just said confidence can be stemmed by setting small, tiny goals, right? Yes. Going to the gym, or just eating breakfast. You can promise yourself, I'll eat breakfast every morning, or I'm going to wake up at hour early every morning. Why?
Yes.
Because the rich people do it. I want to do it. That can be a stem of confidence, right? Facing fears. That's a pretty big one. But what I'm getting is not everything is like a big heroic, act. So own up to strength and weaknesses. Can I kick this one off?
Of course.
I love this one. Reason being, I really, it took me a while to humble myself, but at work, I am one of the first people to always say, I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
And it took me a while because I thought, again, being, engineer, oh my gosh, look at this. I got a ring. Hey, blah, blah, blah. I had to have the answer for everything. But it actually, trying to answer everything without knowing actually lowered my confidence, because you end up being wrong and looking stupid. Right. And then you just kind of feel like a little sheep, right, amongst lions.
Mhm.
And I feel that owning up and knowing what your weaknesses are, understanding them, and working on them
Mhm.
can give you immense confidence, because once you see where you were and how you've progressed, you'd be like, oh damn, yo, I'm the
Yes.
shit now. Like I'm nice. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Where's my other weakness? Let me go try dummy that as well, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, you got to know your strength, because again, if you know your strengths, you can play on your strengths.
Exactly.
So if you know you're not the smartest person in the room, hey, maybe you're the hardest worker, or maybe you're like the strongest, whatever, right? But you gotta know your strengths and work on that, because
Yeah.
that's where your bread and butter is. That's your
Exactly.
foundation, right?
You said that perfectly. Your bread and butter. Your bread and butter takes you far places, and just like you said, your weaknesses when you recognize it. You know, the experience you just gave, not being the loudest person in the room, but coming from the back end of it. You know, absorbing it, information and things like that. You can use that to your advantage. You were
Mhm.
totally right. You said that perfectly, too perfectly.
Yeah, I got you, bro. I got you.
So, guys, own up, and girls, own up to your strengths and your weaknesses, and make sure that you don't just go, okay, where are my weaknesses? And just work on that, because it's so important to
Still develop your
harness.
strengths.
Exactly. It's good to develop both of them at the same time and not just be in the state of mind of just weaknesses. Because I've seen people do that.
All right, so I think we wrapped that one up. That one was right, short, sweet, precise, to the point. Own up to your strengths and weaknesses.
Yes,
Hey.
sir. Shout out to Frank for killing that
So okay, this one you're gonna take. Because I got to see what direction you want to go here.
one.
Generosity. So you're saying generosity is a stem
Generosity.
of confidence. So
Yes,
this one I
sir.
gotta hear. I gotta get hit me.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit you with this one because I know a lot of people out there, they, mention generosity or no generosity. But come on, people, be nice to people, okay? Because by being nice to people, that just builds your confidence because you're able to help someone else. Remember that.
Oh,
Able
okay.
to being able to help someone else is one of the greatest forms also of confidence because you're able to get something done. Somebody may come up to you with a problem and being able to help that person out. Maybe you're going to discover something by yourself. You're going to learn something, but in the end
Mhm.
of the day, you're going to help that person get to where they need to get to. And that can help build your confidence, right?
So you can be like, I did that. Like I was able to
Exactly.
assist, and especially if you help someone to the point where, to the effect, sorry, where it actually helped them become successful in some
Mm-hmm.
form. You're like, damn, like if I help this person do that,
Right.
well, what can I do if I focus just on me, for example? Right.
Yes, Frank. Speak that word. Yep. You
So
know
what
it.
kind of forms of generosity? I mean, there's sure you can give money, you can
Exactly.
drive someone places, but do you think the generosity, do you think like just giving your time
Yes. Giving your
can be
time.
considered as
100%. I mean, if you volunteer, giving your time just to help other people, volunteering
hmm,
services, things like that, that's huge. You
hmm,
know, it's very, very huge. Just the gratitude that you see from other people, satisfaction you get from it, just that
hmm,
alone can just boost you up to another level.
hmm.
No,
I
I know
would
it's not something.
never,
It's
I would
not
never
something a
thought of that
lot of.
one.
No, a lot of people don't think about that, right? Because when they think about, say, for instance, confidence, they always think about themselves. They go, what can come to me to make me confident? When they don't realize that they can also give to make themselves feel confident.
No,
It's
I
very
think of
important.
too is if you are giving out, it's called favors. So if you're just doing things for
Yeah.
people,
Right.
I guess maybe naturally, let's say you're always giving people advice, just for
Right.
argument's sake, right? Or you're letting people console on you. What happen naturally is people will gravitate to always, not always, but they'll think, oh, I need help with this. Where's Mike? Right. And
Right.
if people are coming to you for help, that will automatically feel like, oh, they're coming to me for help because they know that I can help them, or because they know that
Exactly.
I have the resources to
Mhm.
help them, right? Um,
Exactly.
so that's actually very smart. I like that one. I like it very much. Good job.
Yes.
Good job.
I tried, man. I'm trying.
Okay, so moving on to the next one. This is a big one here. Um, attitude.
Uh-oh. I think
Like attitude is a this is a nice juicy one. I like this one because I feel like with attitude, this is kind of like the walk to walk, talk to talk, if you want to use that cliche, because realistically, you can go into a room or go into a place or go anywhere. And if you just kind of portray, I guess, how can I put this? If you just if you have a certain walk to you, a certain talk, a certain, just like if you feel like you're the shit in that, if you just feel that you're gonna be it, you know what I mean? And and that's one way if you're just being cocky, but attitude also is like if you're hit with a challenge or hit with a scenario, if you just have, I used to be a pessimist, now I'm a realist more so. So
that's
again,
very, very true.
I understand the situation. Like it's not like I'm like, oh, everything sucks. This is gonna be stupid. For me, like if a situation is shit, I will call it shit. I'll say, okay, this is garbage. But
That's
that's
very
just
true.
what it is. But let me still figure it out, right? Um, but if you go into a situation with the right attitude where there's like, hey, I gotta be confident here, or hey, I just gotta figure this out. I gotta persevere, I gotta push through, I gotta whatever. I
Right.
think that can work like wonders. Um, I think.
It can no, you're right. You're totally right. That can work wonders. Attitude is everything. You know, it it's it's something that actually when you point out to people, most people are bothered by that, right? Because everyone has that ego that I can do it all. I don't need this. I can do whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like attitude is something that when you tell people, hey, you got to check yourself, you know, being humble, noticing your attitude, noticing the way you're approaching things, whether that be in a negative way, is so important to your confidence because it it helps huge. I mean, where do you want to play from? The front end or the back end? Everyone knows that when you play from the back end, you're able to see what's in front of you.
Mm.
So when you dial down that attitude and you're able to absorb a lot more because you're putting your ego away, you're putting everything away, you're just
So you're
stripping
actually
yourself
talking
right
about
down
the
to the bottom.
reverse of what I was saying. You're saying you should step back and dial everything down
Mhm.
and almost go into observation mode so that way when you it does come time for you to act or react,
Yes.
you
Right.
have even more information and confidence that you'll be acting properly,
Yes,
more
exactly.
effectively.
So like dialing it
Okay,
back, but
okay, okay,
then
okay.
you are right. After you've done that and you've dialed it back, you're right. A form of action, once you're in that action, yep, turn it up, turn that heat up, you
One
know?
example that just happened recently at work. So we're on a tough project, and long story short, we had to transition some PMs and CMs onto the job, like people, just because of maternity and promotions,
Yeah.
etc. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But coming onto the project, there's a vast amount of information I had to learn, history mostly. So I was just literally in the observation mode, just listening, checking, being CC'd on stuff, doing my research in the background, observing what kind of people I'm dealing with, like who's the people who are very more aggressive, who are more pushovers, whatever. And I was like, all right, let's just keep being in observation mode. There's no need to swing my dick around yet, right? Let's just relax.
True.
And then it was only recently when finally um, I was able to say, okay, I got enough confidence where I know what's going on now. I'm caught up. I know what's up.
Yes.
I don't like how this person's carrying out this task.
Hmm.
And they kept kind of pushing the matter. And then finally I was just like, hey, listen, stop. I've given you instruction. I've told you what to do. I have confidence in what I am saying, and this is the best approach. And I
Yeah.
need you to simply do it and stop wasting my time in this meeting, please. And it was like kind of a, you know, take charge moment, which I would have never had in the past. But because I was able to, instead of just going in there like a, just, rushing in and just kind of,
Mhm.
throw my
Being the
weight
front.
around. I was like,
Yes.
hang on, I'm like, let me see what's going on, assess, figure it out, and then take action. So that way I know that the action I'm taking is actually accurate and for the best of the team. Right.
And at the end of it, how did he feel at the end of it, right?
Oh, great. Because I
Yeah.
felt like I made the right decision. I handled the situation correctly, and I took the necessary steps to build up to that moment, right? Whereas
Exactly.
if I just kind of jumped the gun, then I'd be second guessing. I'm like, oh, did I go too harsh? Or oh, maybe I'm going to be wrong. Or it's funny because you reach a point where like you don't care if you're wrong, right? As
Exactly.
in, I will. There's, and let me clarify this. You care if you're wrong, of course, but as in,
Mhm.
you're not afraid to be wrong because I
Yes.
position myself where I'm just like, listen, whether this works or not, this is what I believe. Therefore, this is what we're gonna do. Now,
Mhm.
hey, it may not work, but if it doesn't work, we'll figure it out. But I believe, and I have to make the executive decision to do X. And
Mhm.
this X decision is boiled up from, whatever research, whatever reading, whatever steps I had to take, right? But you own up. If you're wrong, I'll say, yeah,
Mhm.
hey, I was wrong. Okay, I'm allowed to be wrong. Thank you. But
Yes.
that's just what you have to do. And that's work, but that should be in your relationship. That should be in your personal endeavors. That should be in your family. That should be
Right.
everywhere, right?
Everywhere, literally. And that alone is exactly what you just described. Is having that attitude. You see, when you have that attitude, you're able to just achieve so much, like you just mentioned. You're able to conquer things like that, and that really, really, really really builds your confidence in a place.
I think that goes back to what you said about the strengths and weaknesses, like the topic
Yes.
you brought up, because it's like,
Hmm.
I feel like once you realize that you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be
Yes.
human.
You just have to be human.
And I think it's more important to make decisive, to take decisive action than to dwell and
Yes.
take forever. Because,
Exactly. Because
you know what I mean?
you're right. You're right. You're totally right. Because here's the thing that people don't know. You're never going to be perfect.
No,
You're never going to be.
you just got to
You
be
have
right
to
70% of the time.
more like 20% probably. You know, the other percentages you could just be like, just keep quiet.
Hand over the mouth.
Exactly.
Next one you had. So we got two more on this list.
Mhm.
Criticism.
Ooh.
Hit me.
Ooh.
Hit me. Hit me. Hit me, baby. Hit me. Tell me.
Wow. It's a cold hard truth, right? Um, I think the number one thing as human beings, just like attitude is something that these are the hard ones. People are going to listen and be like,
Well, yeah, first clarify. You got to be able to take criticism, give criticism. What is it? What is it?
that's it, both. I mean, but you know what? I think if we're putting the tier system on it, I think being able to take criticism is huge.
Okay.
Because look, when you go through life, we're not perfect human beings. And in the end of the day, there's so much to learn. I know, Frank, even like yourself, you learn something new by yourself almost every day,
Mm.
right? And sometimes when you have somebody kind of tell you, like, hey, listen, like this is this is what it is. Like
You're wrong.
you're wrong.
You think you're a
Like,
10? Boy, you're a 4.
exactly.
Shit.
Sometimes you need that because you you need to know what's wrong, or not necessarily what's wrong, but things that you can maybe kind of pay more attention to. It's
Yep.
easy to pay attention to your strengths and think, you know it all, or in life you're like, oh, I'm here. So, let's just say, for instance, you have $1 million in the bank. It's easy to look at $1 million and think, oh, I'm so successful, you know. But remember, there's other aspects of your life that could be failing. It could be
Someone
your
can come to you and
relationships,
say,
or
you got a million, but you could have had 30.
hey,
But
that's it. You could have made more.
because
This
you
is how
spent,
you make more. Because here, playing out to the point. Here's some criticism. Here's your weakness. So you have to be able to harness that and
take it on
sit
the chin.
back, take it on the chin, and be like, you know what? Maybe let me make a note of that and take a look at this and see, cross reference that,
So I
But
think I think the more important, or like the specific item there is, not only must you take criticism because that just gives you thick skin, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
Thick skin is good, but you have to be able to act on it, right?
Yes. You have to
So
be able to act.
take it, being told, oh, you are this, that, whatever.
Mhm.
Okay. But you have to be able to say, okay, they said that I am this. Let me fix it. I can fix it by doing this. And therefore, 2 months ago when this person said I couldn't ride that horse, well, look, I am now racing horses because I'm so damn good.
Yes.
Awesome. Right.
Exactly.
And that's when you'll have your eyes open and say, okay, yeah, I should be taking criticism and acting on it because I can definitely better myself. Right.
Yes. Because look at there's some athletes out there that you wouldn't imagine they weren't able to look at Brady. I mean, for all your football fans, I mean, if you see the guys, Columbine, what was it? The practice.
It's combine. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, I mentioned the wrong.
I know what you meant.
But yeah, he wasn't able to. I mean, he was not anything special.
If you saw Tom Brady rookie combine, you'd be like, this is not a football player.
You'd be like, this is not a football player.
And he probably heard it all too.
Of course.
Right?
But guess who was in his ear constantly? His coach.
Yep.
His coach was always in his ear saying, hey, listen, you can't throw. You can't do this. You're the slowest guy off the start. So you're going to have to make up for it. This is how you do it. What did he do? He listened to everything he has to say. That's why he's one of his biggest mentors, because being a guy like that, being open to that criticism, he knew what things he needed to fix instead of going out to search for it. Sometimes searching for things can be very hard.
He had to prepare his mind. He's like, I don't have the body, but guess what?
Exactly.
I got the mind.
Right? I have the mind. So
he can't throw the ball the furthest. Like he throws 20, 25 yards, some of that.
Right. Exactly.
If Azan was here, he'd probably correct me with that stat. But either way, he's not a deep ball throw, but now he's a surgeon.
Right? Exactly. And how do you think he got that? His coach let him know, hey, listen, you throw the ball short. So you're going to have to do things that, I'm sorry, but you're not athletic. Use your mind. You're going to have to memorize these plays. You're going to have to, your X and O's. And that's very important, going through it.
Very nice. Last thing, don't focus on things you can't change.
100%. I mean, Frank, you want to elaborate on this?
I like to say, I would like to call it off the cusp. I would call it low hanging fruit.
Okay.
So if I know that, let's say
you mean like a pear, or do you mean like an apple, or what type are we talking about?
I'm Caribbean, so let's say a plum.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Plum or a mango. Let's do that. So if you have tasks or goals or things just about your life that you want to correct, right? I call it low hanging fruit because first you should be able to realize, okay, what can I and what can I not repair or change?
Right.
Share facts. You can't change history. You can't change the past. So don't dwell in it. Look at the stuff in front of you. Say, okay, I could change this. I can change that.
100%.
I might be able to change this, but it'll take some time. Okay. But focus on the things that you do have control over and start with the stuff that are easy, low hanging, right? If it's like, I want to make more money. Okay, cool. What do you have to do to make more money? I'm usually showing up to work late.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the easy one. Wake up 10 minutes earlier and get up to work on time. Therefore, you show that you're dedicated, and that way they'll remember you as showing up on time, and then maybe you'll get a promotion or raise. It'll be easier for you. Right. That's the low hanging fruit. That is easy. But if it's like, I get so grumpy because there's so much traffic. Okay, well, you can't change the traffic. So, I mean,
some people think they can, Frank.
You know what I mean?
Just drive 150 kilometers down the road,
He's like, keep complaining about the traffic or just focus on something else. If you're in a grumpy mood, maybe say, okay, I can't control the traffic, but I can play some music. I can listen to a Common Age, the podcast. I can, do whatever, do something else. But don't focus on things that are immovable objects.
Okay? That is facts.
Focus on things that you actually can move. You have a choice, and you can mold to your benefit.
100%. Think about what that. Remember how we talk about the side things that build up from it? Think about the positive mind you get from having that aspect alone.
Absolutely.
Think about the positivity and the place you set yourself in for the things that you can't control.
You know what? I consider it just like, again, because I'm in construction.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing something, let's say you're working on, I don't know, you're doing your washroom. Actually, perfect example. I was redoing my washroom,
Mm-hmm.
and I had all the materials, and then I was like, oh damn, I need to order some Schuler. I forgot, and I ordered it, and it was supposed to come or be ready for pickup the same day at Home Depot,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Right.
and I got upset for a moment. I'm like, fuck, this is stupid. I just want to. There's always something that's wrong. And
Yeah.
then literally, I have this natural built-in trigger. I'm like, okay, chill. I have a network. I'm like, where can I get this? I'm like,
Right.
okay, I can't change. I can't go and I can't get the truck from Home Depot to go pick up my stuff. Like
Right.
it's out of my control. But I can call my buddy who I know does do renovations, and he probably has some. I called up
Mm-hmm.
Matty. It's like, hey Matt, do you have some Schluter? He's like, well, Frank, to tell you the truth, I actually do. I have like 15 feet.
Look
And
at
he's like,
that.
you can have it. I'm like, perfect. I'll be there. Went, got it,
Nice.
had it. And while I was waiting, I was still preparing the washroom. I was preparing to paint. I was preparing the mortar. Sorry, the drywalling,
Yeah.
the mud. And I was still doing concurrent activities. I'm like, hey, I don't
Mm-hmm.
have this, but at least I can do other stuff. And I still
Exactly.
made it a productive day. So
Very productive.
find things you can do. If shit happens, hey, it is what it is. But make it a positive, make it effective plan still.
100%. You see what it did there too is you were able to think, you're able to find solutions. You see
Yeah.
that right there, being in a positive mindset. There's something that kind of like it's like what do they call it? Like fight or flight, I think they call it.
Yeah.
You're able to be in a situation or position where you're able to think of other ways of getting things done,
Yeah.
and that all don't forget that really contributes to your confidence in a lot of ways because
Absolutely.
you know that no matter where you are, how you are, no matter how things turn out, like your situation when you don't have the material, you're like naturally you just okay,
Where's
where
the
am I going to
where's
get this?
plan B, C,
That's
D?
it.
Can I
That
go to
is it.
Lowe's? No. Okay. Can I call someone?
Literally.
Okay. Right.
Literally. And I must give a shout out to you doing your bathroom. I gotta say, Frank has got a bit of OCD, guys. All the squares are perfect.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
and
you.
that's the first thing I noticed. So, looks amazing, man.
Thank you, brother. Okay, so that was a long second segment there. So we won't take too long the third one. So the third section is is there a defining moment or catalyst for the confidence in your life?
Okay. You want to take this one, Frank, or you want me to go?
Mine's pretty simple.
Okay.
It'll be short and sweet. For me, I would start with my secondary catalyst was the dance team
Okay.
in university
I remember that.
because I was strictly a club dancer, just chill, whatever. And then my friend Michaela, shout out Michaela, she just had a beautiful baby.
Yeah.
She convinced me to go try out for the team. I'm like, I've never done choreography. That's where you and I met. You were the
Yes,
choreographer.
sir.
And then when you're just like, I remember the moment specifically, it was you and Wayne. And I
Yeah.
came up to you guys after. I'm like, yo, so when do we hear back if we made the team or an update? And
Yeah.
you were just like, oh, you made it. I'm like, what? And you're like, oh, you made it. And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay. And Wayne's
I
like, yeah. I'm
remember
like, yo,
that.
bro, don't worry about it. I'm like, all right,
Don't worry
true.
about it. No
But
sweat.
so that was one. I'm like, damn, right. But my defining moment was actually in cadets.
Yeah.
So you rank up, of course. You start off as a private, corporal, master corporal,
Mhm.
etc. And the lower ranks, you're kind of just you're a grunt. You're working, you're taking orders, etc.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until when you become like sergeant, that's when you become like a section commander. So you're not in charge of your own troop, but you have like a section of it.
Yeah.
So you kind of get a little taste of, oh, I'm the leader. Okay, I gotta make
Mhm.
some decisions, get people places. Mostly, oh, get them here, get them there, or whatever.
Yes.
But it was really when I became warrant officer and then chief warrant officer when I got like responsibility.
Mhm.
And I was actually now just not being a key member of a team, but I was leading the team.
The leading team, yeah.
That's when actually I started like that was the paradigm shift for me because instead of me just being a doer, like I was very good at doing stuff. I was athletic. I
Right.
can do all the teams. I was smart. I was precise with the drill, the band, everything, shooting everything.
Hmm.
But then when I had to actually lead these people on
Right.
weekend exercises and lead them in these same teams I was a part of,
Mm.
that's where my confidence was just like, it's like a graph. It just skyrocketed
Skyrocketed.
because I was able to command these people and have an effective team and make a name for myself. And I was hearing that people knew me and was like, oh yeah, that's Wilson. Oh, okay, cool, that's Wilson. Da, da, da.
Hmm.
And I was doing well at the summer camps, and it was just like, okay, whoa. That's when I was like, damn, I'm pretty capable.
I'm
I'm
pretty
like,
capable.
I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, that's
Were you
cool.
nervous? Were you nervous as hell in the beginning? Probably, right?
Oh yeah, because my sister, she was in cadets before me, and she was a prominent figure. Like people knew,
Yeah.
don't screw around with like that Wilson. And she
Yeah.
was smart as hell. She was just advancing through the ranks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta follow in her wake, right?
Her
So when
big,
I
the big
joined, they're like,
shoes.
oh, it's the little brother or whatever. And then it's just like, oh, that's the brother. And then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's Wilson. That's one of the
That's
Wilsons,
Wilson.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it was such a cool time because you're like what, 16, 17, 18, and
Exactly.
you feel like you're top shit when really you're still a teen.
And
But
you know
yeah.
something, people probably expected a lot more from you too. Because
Mm.
remember, your sister set the bar. So now you even had more of a weight on you. It was like
Hey,
you
I
really
had
had to
to
push through in
do
order to build that confidence.
my sister was band. She was on the band. She was on the skill and arms. She was on the drill
Wow.
team. She was on every team, shooting team. She was everything, everything,
Wow.
everything. Um, and she went to like the proper camps. Like, and I'm not gonna
Hmm.
get into all that stuff, but
Right.
I literally had to come in and like not even one up her, but I had to be like, okay, I have to at least try to match her, right? Because I like
Yes.
it's the Wilson name, right? So yeah, I
That's
did the
it.
same teams. I did the same band. I did the same courses. I got top in some of them. I
That's what's
was the
up.
leader of literally every single team there was, and
Hmm.
it's almost like I was just trying to make her and my parents proud because it's like, hey, you started this, so let me try to finish it, right?
Yeah.
So that was my part for me. Like cadets is 100% the driving factor, like the initial driving factor for my
Right.
confidence.
Hmm.
What about you?
That's freaking awesome, man. That I remember when we were talking about cadets, and that's something that I always wanted to do when I was younger. Because you're right, the things you get to experience, especially the leadership part of it, it isn't easy. That's what people don't realize, that being
Easily the
that young,
strongest and most versatile skill I have ever learned to this day.
100%, 100%, and that young too. Because when you're that young, you're not mature to lead. It's 15, 16 years old to lead a group of people and what you're doing, like
Gotta figure it out, man.
you
Gotta
got to
figure it
figure
out.
it out. It's very difficult. I think for me, one of the positions I would say in my life,
First of all, before you continue,
yeah.
everybody, we don't have the time, but Mike has been through absolute like, didn't you fight like a leopard or came face to face with like a tiger or something? I forget what it was or something. But Mike has had like one of. I'm surprised he's alive and sitting here today. Like he has had the most adventurous
everybody
life like I've ever known. Anyways,
everybody everybody says that too. Yeah.
what
You're
is what
right.
is your one moment of your millions that you could probably list?
Talking about eventfulness, would have to be exactly what you said. 8 years old, um, losing your mom, you know,
Yes.
and she looked at me, and my mom was always, she was amazing. She was like my best friend, even till this day,
Yep.
and it's like she would, at the age of 6, 7 years old, I'd be in the kitchen cooking with her. I'd be doing things with her that,
You're doing grown things as a kid,
yeah,
as a
just
child.
growing up. Yeah, exactly. And it was interesting, why she would do that. I mean, this is the same woman that hand me cash to give to people, I didn't even know how to count. And so she really put me in positions to be able to do things, no matter even if I was scared of them. And I just remember this one thing was when she was passing away, she told me, knowing that she wasn't doing too well, she looked at me, she said, "Hey, listen, everything's going to be okay. You're capable. You're capable of doing
Mm.
anything you want to do. Everything will
Such
be
a
okay."
simple statement that
Such
went
a simple statement
so
that went
deep.
so deep, but so far
Mm.
because, fast forward, through the funeral, through everything. I remembered, especially in my early teens, no matter what, I try to conquer everything I could just based on that statement.
Mm.
I've done many things in my life that I had no qualifications for or no business in. I started playing, for instance, basketball pretty late, 10th grade, and then I joined my varsity team in the first year. People would say, "What? How? You're supposed to do, the beginning and JV and
Yeah.
everything," but it's just because I had that mindset. That's a quote that from my mom. I think that's really the pivotal moment in my life, and I'm glad I had that.
That's big. That stems so far long ago. Like, if
It's
you
it's
think about
so
it, that
long
was
ago.
what 20 that was 25 years ago.
That
25.
was, it's crazy to see
Woo.
that with how fast time flies by.
Damn.
1996. I remember it like the back of my head. And those moments are always your pivoting moment. It's when you're faced with adversity
Mm.
and you get through it, and whether that be somebody by your side kind of giving you the help or the word, or you just looking back at what you just achieved, and that just sets you up for so many things to come, just like you just mentioned.
With that, I can't even end on a sweeter note. Like, damn. Like, damn, boy. Guys, that I think we're gonna wrap it up. So
Yes, sir.
I think my half of the closing statement is whether you have an abundance of confidence or whether you
Mhm.
have a minuscule amount, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
You always want to try your best to develop it in any
Mhm.
capacity you possibly can.
100%.
And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go from um to humble to just raging confidence overnight.
Mhm.
It can be small bricks, small steps, whatever you want to, whatever analogy you want to do, just small goals, small things,
Yes.
moments at a time that's going to contribute to the bigger picture. And
100%.
eventually, you will realize that your confidence is developing so naturally that you don't even
Mhm.
realize it. And things just become second nature to you.
Yes.
Right. I think that's the end goal. Is not, you'll never be 100% confident in everything you possibly do. It's
Right.
just you're confident that you have the ability to
Mhm.
at least take it on. That's the goal. You
That's
have
the
the
goal.
ability to take on an act, challenge, event, goal,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And
Mhm.
of course, it's up to you to determine if you're going to succeed or not. But the
Right.
first step is to say, "Hey, I can attack it." That's
Self-awareness.
that's my last closing statement for this one. I don't know if you have anything to
100%.
say.
No, that's pretty much, you nailed it on the bell.
Nailed it on the
And
bell. What
literally.
kind of?
Come on,
I'm gonna
my
use that.
analogies.
Yo, bro, man, yo, you like nailed that bell, bro. Damn, like.
Ding. But
Ah,
it's just alongside with your closing statement there. Don't wait. I understand that life goes on every day that we go by, and it's easy for us to wait and wait and wait and say, okay, we need to do this. Act. Act. You're self-aware. The things that you're good at. The things that you're not good at. So what you want to do, you want to act, but most of all, after you act, remember, be patient.
yep.
Be patient, because everything without patience is not going to take you far.
Everything takes time. It takes
It
time.
takes time. You're right.
With that said, everybody, it is time for your most favoritist, that's a real word looking up in the Webster's dictionary,
Mm-hmm.
part, not even of the podcast, it is your favorite part of your day, of your week, of your life, everything. If you're eating, stop and get ready. If you're studying, stop and get ready. If you're having sex, stop and get ready. because it is time for Spittin' in 5. Cha-cha-cha-ching! Damn, boy! Damn!
What?
Everybody and anybody. This is a segment of a show called Spittin' in 5. If you do not know about it, get out from underneath that rock because you got to know about this, bro.
Sir.
Spittin' in 5 is quite simply where I have a topic of my choice. The guest and Azam do not know what it is. It has absolutely nothing to do with what we just discussed. It could be a situation. It could be would you rather. It could be a versus. It could be anything. Doesn't even matter. You just got to be ready for it.
That's it.
Mike, are you ready for season 2, episode 59's Spittin' in 5?
Hang on a sec. I got to check if I'm sweating. We good.
This week's question is quite simply, it's a would you rather, I guess.
Okay.
Would you rather?
Oh, he's smiling. I know where this is going.
No. It's a simple one. It's clean. This week's clean and simple. Would you rather change something about your life
Ooh.
or simply restart it?
Oh my goodness. Wow. You know what? That's a hard question.
I know. That's why I spin in 5.
So look, the reason why that's a hard question for me is because would I change something about my life? Truthfully, every day I wake up, and I'm being honest, I pride myself in making sure that every aspect of it, I'm changing. Like if I have to, whether it's situational, whether it be for the future, my job, anything like that, would I restart? I mean, you and I both know, Frank, I would not want to restart because I would not want to go through all that stuff all over again.
Well, no, when you restart it, it can be a different outcome.
Okay. Oh,
like it's literally like it's like a chance. Like it's like if I come to you, I say, okay, listen, you can change one thing about your life right now, but you'll still be 34, 33, whatever.
Okay.
You'll still have whatever else is going on. It will be the exact same. Okay.
Okay.
Or without you knowing what's going to happen, I can restart your life. You can go right back to age 0. You're born.
Wow.
You won't have a memory of anything, but at least you get a second shot to see what happens.
You know what? I would relive it because I would want to relive all the good and the bad moments that I still cherish today. So you know what? Reset.
Hey, you get an extra whatever years, right?
That's it.
I guess technically.
That's it.
That's good. Okay.
That's a hard question, Frank.
Respect that. I can respect that.
That's a hard question.
That's the point of it. Usually people ask if would you go back in time with the knowledge
right,
you have now.
with the knowledge you have.
Fuck that,
yeah,
no.
Exactly.
Like for me, if someone came to me and said, all right, Frank, you can change something about your life.
Right.
Or you can restart it. I think I would go with option A.
Okay. Really? Change something.
Only because like I really, and I'm not saying you don't, I really enjoy my life and what I got and what I had and my experiences and everything.
Right.
And I can think of a billion things I can change. Everything, everybody can always think of something.
Right.
But like, yeah, if I can change one thing and that would maybe have a very big, it would make my life just that much better.
Right.
And hey, I'm still only 34. Hopefully I still got some time left. Then I would just do that, right? And that way I can still have my memories, still have my experience, and just have whatever this one thing is that would make things better.
The thing is though, you're a doer. So you have to think about it like this. No matter what is in front of you, you're gonna change that circumstance, whether it be next year, 2 years from now. Come on, think about where you were.
Yeah,
in
but if
university.
I get a free change, like
a
if
free change, like
if
a
they're
quick
like
change,
if
like
they're
a
like
flash.
you could do whatever you want, give me something you would change. If I'm like, all right, yo, give me $50 billion, like, all right, change.
Right.
I'm like, sweet. You saved me a lot of time.
Shout out. We know Frank is going to acquire that $50 billion. I give it 5 years. I'll make you that bet.
I'm not going to lie, 100%. If it would be money. It would definitely have something to do with money, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Never go to work again, right?
Yo, why not? Like, just everybody's
You
chill
are right.
and good, right?
You're totally right.
Like, I mean, I could say, oh, give everybody I know, bring us back to our youth.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, I'm still living in 2021 on lockdown. Like, I can't
That's
do
true.
shit. So it's like, yo, give me some money. Let me buy a quick island, and then I can stop this social distancing and go to my own damn bars, guy.
Buy your own goddamn island.
Yeah, I'll make my own vaccine. It's called rum.
That's true.
Oh, anyways, that was good. That was a good answer. So everybody, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Sorry, no, first of all, yeah, I guess the fans first. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening,
commenting, everything. Mike, thank you for joining me on this episode.
Course. It is a pleasure.
I mean, we always talk, we always have a good time, but it's always great just to kind of, bless the people with, whatever knowledge or strippiness that we have that comes out of our mouth or minds.
Exactly. It's a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me on here. And like I said, shout out to you for, just doing this podcast, man. A lot of people love listening to it.
Thank you. If you guys, now, first of all, the best way you can support is by liking, commenting, following, sharing, doing what you got to do. You can, if you want to reference this to his friends, we are on every streaming platform, every single one. I don't have to list them, every single one. Just search for A Coming of Age, the podcast. You can follow us or check us out on Instagram at _at A Coming of Age, the podcast. You can email us at acomingofage.thepodcast@gmail.com. Again, the best thing is if you can get any kind of comments and just have a dialogue. Tell us what you think. Give us topic ideas if you want to hear something. I mean, we have a huge list of topics, but we have no problem shuffling them around and getting something new. And again, Mike, yo, bless up, brother. I love you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And hopefully you enjoyed yourself. I think you did.
Yes, sir. Oh, I'm more than enjoying myself. Thank you. All the hard questions, and man, love you too. And much happiness, like I always say, and success always.
Yes, sir. With that said, everybody, we are out this.
Yes, sir.
Peace out.